Do you know that each time someone is trying to do any transaction which is suspicious, is being monitored? Your bank, the insurance companies, the financial institutes are watching. They are watching of any trail which sounds or looks suspicious. For example, the moment a salaried person starts getting cash in his or her bank account without any proper justification, bank may consider this transaction as suspicious. The money laundering is a huge problem worldwide. It is the responsibility of financial institutes to stop this money laundering, and for that purpose, they closely monitor our transactions. Each time the financial institute thinks this transaction is suspicious, they have to report it, and they have to report to the Financial Intelligence Unit. In India, we call it FIU-IND. Financial Intelligence Unit is the body which receives the suspicious activity report or suspicious transaction report from the financial institute and investigate if those cases are really a money laundering cases or something which can be closed. So let's learn today, how do we file the SAR or STR? Suspicious activity report or suspicious transaction report. This is a report which every financial institute has to file with FIU without any fail. Each time they think a particular transaction or account holder is having any activity which is suspicious, after investigating internally, if the bank is convinced that this is really suspicious, it is time for them to file the SAR. So there are 7 important steps which you have to learn today to understand how the SAR is being filed. Globally, this procedure may vary slightly from country to country, but largely most of the country follow the same procedure. So suspicious activity report is a report which is filed so that this particular activity or account can be checked for further investigation, just to check if this particular account holder is involved in any kind of suspicious activities or transaction related to money laundering. So let's discuss those 7 important steps today and understand how basically the SAR is being filed. So each time the bank or the financial institute is filing SAR, there are certain steps to be followed. So let's learn when the SAR is filed and how is it filed. So the first thing we have to understand is when is the time for a bank to file the SAR. So number 1, detecting unusual activity. Each time a bank assumes or they see the pattern in the transactions which are not normal, which is unusual, it is time to file SAR. Now, what makes a transaction or activity suspicious or unusual? So, for example, a salaried person starts getting cash without any justification. Suddenly, could be suspicious. A person has started receiving money from grey listed country or blacklisted country and is not able to justify why, could be sounding unusual. A person will start doing lots of transactions without any justification is also unusual. So there is no specific criteria which will fit in all accounts. However, there are certain rules which are definitely followed. On that basis, banks normally monitor the transaction, correct? So step 1 is something where we basically see whether the transaction is sounding unusual. The step number 2, gather the information and evidence. Just because we believe this is suspicious may not always be true. It may also possible that this is a genuine business activity or a person genuinely is doing some transaction. So how will we distinguish if it is genuine or not? So for that, bank does internal investigation. In internal investigation, they try to collect the information from the customer without alerting them. What is very important for us to know that a customer should not know that he or she is being monitored for anti-money laundering or STR is being filed for that particular person. So we try to ask that information through the frontline staff, the branches who are actually in touch with the customer, but indirectly. When we collect that information and we find it satisfactory, we find that that information is genuine, customer is genuinely doing this transaction, we may not proceed with SAR. We may close this investigation. However, if internal AML review turns out to be negative, then we have to definitely go ahead. So step number 1 was to detect unusual activity. Step number 2, to gather the information. Step number 3, to do the internal AML review. As I just mentioned, we investigated internally to see if it is genuine or not genuine. If our step number 3 says that customer is doing these transactions without any justification or something doesn't feel good, correct, it seems unusual, then we will proceed with step number 4, which is prepare the STR. So how do the STR is being filed? So we have to draft a very clear narrative. Please remember that Financial Intelligence Unit, FIU, which will receive those SAR, they do not have a visibility of the customer. They can't see the customer, they can't talk to the customer. So the better the narration, the clearer the narration, the more effective it is. The biggest problem normally we see in filing SAR and STR is people write narration in a very, either it is very, very brief, which miss out the important information, or it may be written in a manner that each line or word may have more than one meanings. So it is very important for you to go through the training to actually write an effective SAR and STR. So in GAFA CML program, we give a practical training and ask participants to write SAR and STR so that they learn how to write it in a best way. Step number 4, when we say prepare STR, make sure that it is of good quality. The lines, the narration should be very clear, concise. However, it should include all important stuff. And what is important? Who, what, when, where, and why. So I will have a detailed videos to explain each W, where I will be discussing what exactly it includes in the SAR narrations. So step number 5 is file through the portal. So every country has a different kind of portal. In India, we do it FIU-IND portal. In other countries, there could be other portals. So the portal may vary from country to country. It may be FinGate, it may be some other, entirely depends on the jurisdiction we are. So we have to go to that particular portal and then file the SAR there. So now today, everything is automated, so is SAR and STRs. So through this portal, we generally file. We have to do this SAR filing on timely basis. Now, what is the time? So 7 working days from the date on which the suspicion is determined. So for example, today is 10th June 2026. So from maximum within 7 days of today's date, you have to file the SAR. So before 17th June, your SAR should be filed. If a bank or financial institute fails to do it, it may be considered a negligence, may not be taken very lightly by regulators. So you have to be very clear if you're working in a financial institute that SARs are filed on time. And then we move to step number 6, where we says do not tip off. Tipping off is one of the biggest challenge we have seen in AML investigation. So what is tipping off? Knowingly or unknowingly, if you are alerting the customer, it's called tipping off. If you are AML officer, please make sure that you do not ever disclose this information even to your respective branch. If a branch person asks you, are you doing investigation of this case or are you filing SAR for this case, we have to not say yes, but we are not supposed to say no either. So you have to handle this in a diplomatic way. We don't alert the customer, right? So make sure that we do not do tipping off. And the final step is to maintain the records. When FIU will start investigating, they may need some information. They may come back to you for that record. So our responsibility do not end when we file SAR and say, okay, fine, now it's not my role. No, that's not how it actually works. So we have to make sure that the records are maintained and records are maintained properly. Some question which are being asked quite a lot. People say that for how long should we maintain the record? So there is no specific timeline determined for maintaining the record. For example, there are different countries where it is said that as long as that record can be requested by regulator or it is required for litigation purpose, if it is any. So there is no hard and fast definition of time determined across the globe. That may vary from country to country. But at least maintain it till the time SARs are closed, so that if FIU needs any record, you can go back and provide the same. Every country has a central bank. Every country has a different regulation. However, largely if you see across the globe, the regulations are almost in sync, specifically when it comes to anti-money laundering. In India, we follow PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So this SAR which we are discussing right now is as per PMLA Act India. Across the globe, different acts are there. However, technically, they are more or less same, right? So if you are from India or you are from any part of the world, please follow your respective guidelines which are issued by the central bank of your country and follow those steps which are mentioned for filing suspicious activity report or suspicious transaction report. So this was a brief detail from my side where I just wanted to inform how to file suspicious transaction report. With this, me, Kamaljeet Kaur Soni, once again, I'm happy to interact with you, and I will be coming soon with more videos on how to write an effective SAR. If you need more information, please drop your comments in the comment box below and be in touch with us. Also, if you are keen to learn the practical side of anti-money laundering, please feel free to join my sessions in GAFA's CML program. So these are the details here. You can get in touch with us and I can see you in my class during the live interaction. So with this, thank you so much for having me once again, and I'll see you soon.